In 1939, the war broke out, and I was 10 years old. It was vacation time, and I was by my grandmother in another city in Władysław. We own a trucking company, and my father came to pick me up and to say goodbye to his parents because he was taken to the army. He was a nurse, and he went to the army. And he took me in the truck. We were not allowed in front to sit, so I sat on top. And he wanted to cheer me up because I was crying. So he said, he was counting money. He said, you see how much money I'm leaving you? You're gonna have good, don't worry, you're gonna have everything because I leave you a lot of money. So I said, what's the money when you go away? And he went to the army, and we stayed by home with my mother, and I had 2 brothers and a sister. And after a short time, he came back home. And I don't know, they were selling, buying, I don't know. And then we went to a ghetto. In ghetto was hard life, very little to eat. My mother was selling things from house to farmers, and that's how we were living. And then the German came and took my father away because he was in the army and he was on the Russian side. So they thought he is a communist, and they took him as a communist. My father was a very religious man. We were religious, very strict religious. And they took my father, and my uncle was sleeping by us because he was kind of lefty. Because by us was the secure place. My father was the most religious. Thus they won't come and take him because my father is religious, so the German won't come and to take him.
Why wouldn't they take him? Because he was religious?
No, because they looked for communists, and not. My father was a religious man. My uncle was, I think this uncle was a communist. So, oh my God. So they came and they took him, and all my life, and he died in Auschwitz. And all my life, I blame me because he said when he came home, he said those words what I talked to him. As I told him, what's the money when you go away? So he want to come home. If he would stay in Russia, with the army, they ran away, the army, to Russia. So I blame myself, because if he would stay in Russia, he would survive. So he come home, the German killed him. We lived in ghetto for a while, and then I skipped this everything. Then
Maybe we should talk about the life before, Shoshi. questions about life before the war, and then the life in the ghetto, and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
So how were you affiliated with different sorts of, you said your father was very religious.
Yes, he was religious.
Did you had a lot of Yiddishkeit in your home?
Yes, we were strict kosher and strict. Saturday came a woman, she lighted the stove and lighted the oven, strict kosher. We didn't drive on Shabbos. We didn't drive on Shabbos. We didn't cook on Shabbos.
And your life before, it was the same as everybody else's?
Yes. We went to school. I had Polish girlfriends and Jewish girlfriends, and a normal life like other kids. We had friends, we had parties, we played.
What type of school did you go to?
I went to a Jewish Sunday school. To Beis Yaakov I went. And I went to Polish school.
You went to both?
Yes. Beis Yaakov there was a Sunday, and it was a Sunday school. After school I went to the Beis Yaakov. And I went to Sunday religious school.
And from the other girls at the Polish school, did you feel different from the other girls because you were Jewish?
No, I didn't feel different. I had Polish girlfriends came to the house, and I went to their house. I didn't eat in their house. They ate in our house, because it wasn't kosher, so I wouldn't eat in their house.
But they were always respectful?
Yes, very respectful, and we were friends, and already.
When you were taken to the ghetto, how did your family keep up being religious? Were they able to?
Yes. The fact is, my father went and brought the rabbi from the city. Was not in our home. He was Elkish. We believe if some problem or what, we went to the Elkish roof, and he brought the rabbi into our home, and the rabbi stayed with us until they took him away.
Did you go to shul?
No, kids didn't go just in the holidays. Kids didn't go Shabbos. I did. My brothers went, but not the girls. The girls didn't go. But we learned this. My mother used to laugh. He said, you have to know how to daven. You're not like some women, they mission the blättler and don't know how to read.
But your mother made sure you knew.
My mother and sisters, we know how to read and to write. Yes.
What did you speak in your home? What language?
Only Yiddish. In home, Yiddish, but in school and with the girls, we spoke Polish.
Was it difficult for you to switch between languages? Or
No, Yiddish was normal, and Polish was normal too, because in school we spoke Polish, and in home, in Beis Yaakov, and in the Sunday school we spoke Yiddish.
Your father, because he was religious, he obviously, what did he wear because he was religious?
He wore like the rabbi clothes in beard. I don't even remember on the picture over there. I think he had a little, but not like you, small.
And what were the names of your parents and siblings?
My parents' name.
Your parents' names?
My mother was Esther. My father was Nehemiah. My eldest brother was Harshel, Zvi. My sister was Zistel, and I was Sara, just like this. And my little brother was Lipe.
And did any of them survive the war, or was it just...
No. They all went to Treblinka.
Your father was a nurse before the war. What did your mother do?
My mother was a businesswoman. The farmers brought, like from goose, the feathers, what you make pillows. Mm-hmm. And she went to Krakow with it. Big business. We had a warehouse, what we kept feathers, and people were assorting this, all kind. The kids were not involved in this. But they used to go to Krakow.
Were your grandparents alive before the war?
My father's parents were alive. My father had 2 sisters and 3 brothers, very religious. And my grandmother, she lived in the same city with me. She was a widow. My grandfather died going. There was no hospital that time. There was no hospital in the city, and he had to go to. He had appendix, just a plain appendix, but burst on the way to Krakow because he was going with horse and buggy to Krakow. So he died very young. He was 38. He died.
That's very young. And did they live close to you, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
My father's parents lived 16 kilometers. I remember this was 16 kilometers from us. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, lives very close, on just next street.
What do you remember about your Jewish life before the war? You said that you had a very religious home, but what do you specifically remember?
Oh, I remember Pesach, the nice glasses, red and green, and the table. Yeah, my father used to bring every Friday a euro to eat. This was in Shabbos. We always had, from the temple, he brought somebody to eat. And everything, all the holidays were very big. The Passover, we got all new clothes, everything, all got from socks and underwear, and we always used to get all new clothes. And we used to, on the sikis, we used to have a siki. We ate in the siki. And life was good. We didn't feel that something is missing. We had everything what we wanted.
Did your parents or anybody, did you realize what was going to happen, or was it not?
No. If you went to the ghetto, like in ghetto, we were not allowed to go to school. So my mother was a very, very smart woman, and she said, it's going to be after the war. You have to be educated. So we had tutors for my sister. Over there are the pictures from the school, from the teacher what came to the house. And she said, even this, she was wearing a ring. If I have to sell my last ring, like this is, my kids going to be educated to the last penny I will spend for my children's education, because you have to be educated. Today, in today's world, you have to be educated.
And that included also Jewish education.
Oh yes, we learned Jewish education we had, and Polish. We learned Polish. In fact, as I learned French, my teacher was speaking French, so I was talk. My sister's teacher was speaking English. So he taught them English, and my teacher was teaching us French.
So when the Germans came to occupy
Yes, so we went to ghetto. Yes.
And how were you able to maintain your life there? How were you able to maintain your Jewish identity?
Jewish life. It was, yes. When the teachers came, we closed the windows and closed the shades. There's nobody sees because we were not allowed to learn. But like I said, my mother believed. When they took father away, life was harder. But was no choice.
Did you work when you were in the ghetto?
Yes, I did work, not for money. I worked to a lady who she was knitting. And because I cried all the time, and when they took father, I all cry all the time. So I went to this was a friend for my mother, and she was knitting for a living. And so she took me and she taught me how to knit, and I knew to knit everything, gloves, everything. And it came very, very useful for me because later in concentration camp I was knitting for the Judenälteste, and for the cooks. And I was knitting, and for the German woman I was knitting, and I get a piece of bread.
What other activities were there to do in the ghetto besides for work?
Not really kids, we play ball. And we played like girls and the boys played separate. They played soccer, they played. And we girls just playing.
Were there a lot of girls in the ghetto?
Of course, there was a big Jewish community. And this called the big ghetto. And we got to eat much was not potatoes. We had potatoes. Potatoes is like mostly what we ate every day, potatoes. Mother was selling things from the house, like I said before, and farmers used to come to the ghetto. We were not allowed to get out from the ghetto, but the farmers were allowed to come, and we bought the potatoes from them. So that's what we had. No beef, no chicken, no. But we didn't complain. We were happy with everything what we had. How long? When they took father, it was really harder.
What changed? When did the ghetto life finish the way it was and they took everybody away? When was the change?
Ghetto changed. We didn't have freedom. We couldn't go out. We couldn't do nothing from ghetto. We were just stuck in ghetto. We were not allowed to get out.
And then what happened?
Then it happened. I got sick, and my mother didn't want me to go to the Jewish hospital because she said the surgeons are not good, And she paid money, and I went to the Polish hospital. And the German didn't know that somebody is. Yes, first my mother sent away my little brother. She gave him away to a farmer. She said, "You're gonna be safe over there. We don't know where we're gonna go because they were talking that they're gonna send us away someplace, but we didn't know where." So she sent away. But 2 days before they took everybody away, she brought him back home. She said, "Well, I'm gonna leave a little boy alone. Wherever we go, we all go together." But 2 days before I got sick, my mother paid money, and I went to the Polish hospital. The German didn't know. And when I was in hospital, they took him all away, and they sent him to Treblinka. Treblinka, I have over there the picture from Treblinka. Treblinka was a death camp. They came, they didn't know this was not a working camp. They took him all, and they undressed, and they went to the gas chambers. And they all got killed. My one uncle, he was a furrier, and he was working for a German woman, making her a fur coat. So they left him that he can stay. They didn't send him to Treblinka. He was working for them. And he came. He didn't go. He said a policeman came and took me out from the hospital. First in the hospital, I could tell right away this is something wrong. But nobody came this morning. My little brother didn't come. And they took away the bed for me. They put me on the floor because they knew there's nobody going to pay for me. So they put me took away my bed, and I slept. I had on just the bare floor. And 2 days later, came this Jewish policeman and took me to the Jewish ghetto. It was a small ghetto, not this big ghetto, but this big, because this big ghetto, there were no people. And I went to this small, my uncle was there, the furrier, and he bought me a loaf of bread, a white bread, because I was in pain. And he said, "That's all the money what I got, because I give everything away. I just have a loaf of bread for you to eat, to buy." And what did I do in the small ghetto? I was going to work. What kind of work? Some people went to the houses, from the Jewish houses, and took everything out, and we did sort them. And this was going to all places, to Germany, and to all places went. And my uncle said, "You have to bring some stuff home that we can buy bread, can buy something to eat. We need money to survive." Because the German didn't pay for the work, what we did. And so what I did, I'm ashamed to say, because my mother taught me different. I was stealing clothes. And I came home and I cried. I said, I don't can do that. My uncle said, you're not stealing. You're taking what is from your home, from my home, from grandmother's home, from auntie's home. This is our thing. This belongs to us. You're not stealing. But it was very hard for me. And they were always looking. Was, a German stood over there and watching when we came, what we got home. So I'm ashamed to say that I couldn't go in black and come out in red. Because he was watching Gottfried. His name was Loser. He was a sharpshooter. He was shooting people, even they didn't do nothing wrong, just stood in the window and looking out, he was shot him. So one day he came with a whole delegation showing off, this is what he got, this goes here, this goes to the army, this goes for the widows, and there's so much stuff what he has over there. And I was in my underwear. Why? Because I had to put something underneath and put back this what I wore on top. We were watching this, but he came with a delegation. He came with this. So he came and said, what's his laws? And I stood there, and I don't know how I knew German. I said, there are lice here. Lice. So, ja, die verfluchten Juden, die sind alle verloist. But everybody knew that it's such a shame what I did to him and to the delegation showing off. And caught me naked. And everybody cried that he's going to shoot me. But he didn't. I don't know why. And he didn't do nothing to me. But everybody said goodbye to me, right? Everybody said goodbye to me and knew that, yes. And now I forgot to say, I risked my life that time, and I went in the house, our home, because I said, how my mother gonna recognize me? Maybe I will forget how they look. So I went, risked my life, and picked up the pictures what were on the floor. I didn't take anything. I didn't touch anything. I just wanted the pictures were on the floor because they knew they already took out the things. Somebody left, but I didn't take anything. I wanted the pictures to have this. I know who my mother was, my father, it's my whole family. So I took the pictures.
These are the pictures that you have?
Yes, those are the pictures what I have. And I even took him when I went to concentration camp. I took him along with me, and I had him on me. Just like on me, I had those pictures on me and kept them.
When were you taken from the ghetto?
From the ghetto, the German came into the house early in the morning and took me out from the house. Since this was the small ghetto already. Just certain people left, the German left certain people for what they worked, what they needed them. And since I was not legally left, I was in the hospital, so they took me. And I went, it was a place, because our city in Jev was a city what was a train station. So they took from around the whole little cities around. They took the people who were left, who were hiding out, whatever, and they took him on this place. And when I came over there, I just recognized, or the woman recognized me. She was from the city from my father, but she was related to my very religious woman with 4 or 5 kids, little ones, and they all were holding her by the skirt, and they cried. I didn't know why the kids cried. They cried, to me, so they cried. And she took me like her kid, her child. And then came a German and asked for me. And I said, "What are you asking for me?" And he said, "I have to go and finish the fur coat." I didn't understand from the start. Then dawned on me, my uncle was the furrier, and he told them that he needs me to finish the coat, that he can do it. Because he didn't want me to go to, then we knew that the going to Treblinka is to death, to the gas chamber. And I didn't want to go, and he started yelling, "I have to finish the coat. 12 o'clock goes the train, and I have by 12 o'clock has to be finished the coat." And I said to this woman, "I don't want to go. I want to go to Treblinka, because I thought if I die someplace else, I won't see my mother or I only have to die in Treblinka, so I want to just go." And she has begged me, "Go, maybe you live, maybe you can tell this what we went through here, just go." And I listened to her the same, and the German here yelled here on one side, and the other side she begged me to go. So I decided, okay, I go, because she begged me like this. And my uncle, when I left, he gave me a knapsack with 2 loaves of bread. And I took off the knapsack and I gave her the 2 loaves of bread. She fell to my feet. She kissed my feet with one hand. She put her hand on my head, and she said, "Bracha." And she said, "Maybe you live." And what I did to the kids, she said, 2 days they walking. 2 days they walking, and the kids didn't eat for 2 days. That's why they're crying. I didn't know why they're crying. And today, when I think about it, I'm thankful that I had the brains and the heart to give away this bread. Because if I wouldn't give away the bread, I couldn't live with myself. Just I didn't give away this bread for the kids. So at least they went to the gas chambers not hungry. And I went back to the ghetto, and I was so mad at my uncle. Why he did bring me back? He said he needed me because he needed this. I go to work and bring some money, But I didn't stay long enough. I didn't stay much longer. I stayed maybe a few weeks. I had an aunt in Benjin. And over there were Jews still. They didn't send them to they were looking if somebody crossed the street along, they sent them to Auschwitz. And I stayed there by my aunt. They hated me over there, not my aunt. the relatives what we stayed, her husband's mother, there was no father, and a sister, because I didn't get any rations, this piece of bread, what we get, I didn't get it, and they get so little, and I took away from them because they had to give me something to eat. And second, every night they were looking for people from, like me, from the other state, they were looking. Where we live, were no Jews more, and over there, still they were working for the German. If they catch me, they will send them all to Auschwitz. So I never slept in bed. It was a closet, and behind the closet was kind of niche, just you go in and stay there. You couldn't even sit down, lay down. You had to stand on your feet over there all night. Because during the day you saw who's coming, but the night, you couldn't sleep in bed. You had to sleep over there all night, stand on your feet. You have to sit over there behind this closet. So they had a friend what worked in the Jewish committee, and they could arrange the some barracks what is in a camp, in a factory, and they worked in this. They had a sister or brother, you could bring it. So they took me as, I don't know, a cousin or whatever, and I went through with this man, and he was teaching me what I can say, what I should say when I'm going now here for this selection. And he was telling me how first he said this, I should look good, dressed, I should look good, And when I came for the selection over there were a lot of people, and they were older than me, and didn't let him through. And he was teaching me what I should say, what I should do. And then he asked me, how old are you? So I said, 14. He did like this, oh my God, 14? You have to be 15 to go to work. You don't can be 14. So, surprisingly, they were older than me, he let me see. And he said like that, kein Frau bist du nicht, kein Kind bist du nicht, zum Teufel. This means you're not a woman, but you're not a child, but to hell with you, go through. I don't know why, he let me through. And older girls than me, he didn't let through. I came to this camp. I was the youngest because...
Which camp was it?
Oberalstadt by Trautenau. And this was a Spinnerei. Spinnerei, this is a factory what is starting from the field to making flax, and then goes through several departments to get a thread, and from the thread goes to a factory what they make yarn. They make yarn, and then they making suits for the soldiers. We work hard. The girls looked from time to time. Mengele came in for inspection, and he made it around just like you see, like here, this round. And in fact, we were embarrassed because men, we were to undress, but the men, Spielmeister and all kind people work. We work with German people, not German, Czech people we worked. And we undressed, and he look how we look. And somebody look very bad, because all the girls was in 1940, mostly 41, over there working in the local. So he said a double portion. You get a double portion. Double portion, next day they sent them away to Auschwitz. So when he came the second time, we ordered like this, making that we look good. That we all look good, and nobody wanted double portion. I was the youngest in camp, and I worked. The cook liked me. I slept with the personnel, with the cook, with the unionists. When I came, I knit for them gloves and everything, starting with socks, with everything, because like I worked in ghetto, and I knew to knit everything. We had the yarn, and when the cook saw me, she took from the bottom. This I get a little more. And I worked on one side by the machine, and the other side was working a Czech woman. She was poor herself, and she had, every day she ate the same thing, potatoes with sauerkraut, with cabbage, potatoes and cabbage. And she was watching, and she gave me 1 spoon or 2 spoons. That's all she had. And then, like we worked every day we worked. It was very little to eat, but I have to say I was very lucky, because I had the cook and this woman that gave me the 2 spoons.
Did you have your uncle with you in the concentration camp?
No. My uncle went, but I want to say, I was always 1 step ahead. When I left my uncle, when I went to Benjin, a few weeks later, they liquidated the small ghetto, and they sent them all away to camps or to death camps or whatever. They sent them away. And in J was a station. There's no Jew went on the train that they wouldn't catch him. I went on purpose on train because I want to go to Treblinka. I didn't want to go to another death camp. I want to go to Treblinka because I want to die in Treblinka. And then I went to Benjin. I went over there to ghetto. And when they arranged for me to go to again, a few weeks later, they sent them all away to Auschwitz. Like, I always was a week before, like somebody sends me away, you know?
How do you think that happened?
I don't know. I couldn't understand. I don't understand to today. Why? No, but, yeah, I forgot. We went with a smuggler to Benjin because it was a border. And we went on a train, on a kind of, cattle train. And he always smuggled people and things. And when we went to Krakow, and he didn't walk with me because he was afraid to see with a Jew because they would catch him. And when I came, they didn't bother me. Then we went in the train, one way went to Auschwitz, and one way was to go to Benjin.
What was Benjin? Was that the city?
City, right, where my aunt lived. And the train, we went on a wrong train. Instead to go left, the train went to Auschwitz. And he said, "Oh, Matka Boska, oh, because of me, of the Jew, the train went to Auschwitz." And he said to me, "Jump." I thought he wants to get rid of me. What do you mean jump? Going train, I will jump, and everything what I own and clothes I was wearing, because I wouldn't go with a suitcase. I had to wear everything what I had. And he said, "Jump." So I said, "No, I'm not going to jump." So he said he's going to jump. But they said, if he jumps, and both sides were forests. And right away he said, here right away is already soldiers with dogs around here, and they're checking if somebody didn't run away from the camp. So I decided, okay, I jump. And he said, when you jump, lay down. It was a December, snow, cold. And the stones by the railroad tracks are stones. I jumped, and my hand and my feet hurts me, and I lay down, and I got into the forest. Oh, and the train goes, and I don't see him. I say he cheated me, he lied to me, but he did. He came. He said, because of me, this happened. But now, after maybe 20 years after this, I was thinking, he said, he pushed me down. How would I jump when a going train was going? When I came to my aunt, she couldn't understand. How did you get here? How did you get here? Here you go cross the street and you don't go straight. And you came with a train to Benjin and with a streetcar to the house where we live. She couldn't understand. They take everybody would just cross the street, cross the street. They're sending him to Auschwitz. And you came with the train. That's how my life was.
Did you, were you involved in religious or educational or other activities organized by the prisoners in the camps?
The prisoner camp was no religious things, nothing. There was nothing.
Was there ever any matzah or tefillin in the camps?
Tefillin, there was no man. We were just women. There was no man. Matzah, no. In Passover, I exchanged with girls who were less religious than me. I give them my bread and they give me the potato.
And what was Yom Kippur? What was that like?
Yom Kippur, I fast. Not everybody fast. I fast Yom Kippur. To me, was Yom Kippur every week. So if I fast today, so the next day I had more to eat. So I fast very often. Every month in Donnerstag I fast.
During the war, did you pray to Hashem at all? And I know before the war you probably did, but during the war?
Yes, we prayed, of course, we prayed.
Did you ever question your Yiddishkeit at all throughout?
No, I thought this has to be like this. What did I knew, you know?
How did you find the strength within yourself to withstand such a difficult situation?
Yes, I want to die, and I prayed to die. But I don't know. Like I said, always came this something happened. This I survived. I survived again, and I survived again. And I couldn't understand. I said, I want to die, just Treblinka. I didn't want any place else, just in Treblinka. I want to die.
Why do you think that happened, that you survived?
I don't know. I don't know why it happened. Maybe I did something good in life. I was thinking, I give those kids the bread. The bread make me think that I did something worthwhile for the kids. Those kids, those little kids, so children, 1 year old, and cried so bad. They cried. They were so hungry. 2 days walking and not eating. I didn't know. She didn't tell me, and I didn't ask why they crying, because kids cry.
When did you leave the camp? When were you liberated?
The Russian came and liberated us. I knew this at night before the end of the war. The girls, we go around from bed to bed and asking, we go home. The girls say, answer, I'm going home. The father will make kiddush, and my mother will have challahs, and it's going to be Shabbos like usually. And when it came to me, I said, I don't have where to go. My parents are dead. They died in the gas chamber. They didn't believe, those girls didn't believe me. Oh, you hated your parents. You didn't like your parents. How can you say they got killed? I said, because that's what I know. And I don't have where to go.
So where did you go from the camp?
This woman, what she gave me this spoon with potato, she loved me, and she said, come and live with us. I was like the happiest person. I have to who to go. Somebody wants me. Somebody wants me. And I said, I will go to this woman. And they opened first, yes. And I agreed that I go. And I went to her and went to her. She didn't have small children. She had already grown sons. They were married. And she was happy to have somebody like Guru with her. And this was like I went on Thursday and Sunday she went to church. I wouldn't go to church. And then she wanted good for me. She brought some young men, some boys, and I wouldn't go out with non-Jewish boy. So I left back to the camp. They opened in the factory over there. It was a warehouse, and I went to get some clothes. Money I didn't have this, so I got 2 coats. I said I have to go. If I go, my mother said is some open world. There must be some other people someplace. There must be in the world some people. There must be some other people than those people here. Maybe someplace are Jewish people. But I said, first you have to look decent, you have to look dressed. So I went to this factory and took some clothes and went to Somek. When I went to the Somek, came the Merus Einikl, I don't know, from the city, from our city, from Yenji. He had a wife what lived, it was a camp over there, Men's camp, and he was from Lodz, and he was asking maybe some woman here from watch, and Girus didn't let him go. And then he said, in jail. I don't know why he asked for jail, because nowhere from our city, nobody went to camps. Everybody went to the gas chambers. And the Girus didn't let him go, and they waited for me to come back home. They kept him over there. And he said, he will take me on the train after you take this. I go with him on the train, and we go back to Poland. I saw, because nobody went to my place over there. Nobody went. And
Who was it?
It was a Merues eigentlich. A Merues. You know what Merues is? What he looks, if it's kosher or not kosher.
Oh, the Meira, the Rab.
Yes. His father was a rabbi.
And where were you at the time?
I was in the camp.
Where was that?
In Oberstadt, in Oberstadt, this. The factory's name was Ettrich, where I worked.
And how after that did you come to America?
To America, I had an uncle would survive. So my uncle, what I said, he survived, the one, and he was looking for me. I came we came, those people were very religious, and we went with other 2-3 girls. We went by train where they lived, because he said that will go to Poland and I can go with them. But they were so religious, they wouldn't let us in the house. They let us sleep in the garage.
Who?
In the garage, they let us sleep.
Who was that?
Those men from Yenjiv, and he was with other 4 or 5 people in the house. They wouldn't let us in because they were so religious, and some girls took from them things, they said, so they didn't trust us. But later, they let me, those girls went away, and they let me in the house, and I went with them to Poland, and I went to watch. And over there, I found out this, my uncle survived. And so that was it. But I didn't stay with my uncle after the war. I stayed with my cousin. I had my husband's, he survived in a bunker. And in the bunker, he had sons, was a anti-Semitic. Yes, he told them not to tell the sons, because the sons will kill him. Does he hide Jews in the basement?
When did you meet your husband?
My husband was a friend from my uncle, the one who lived here. When he came to our house, I remembered him, but he didn't remember me. I was a little girl. He said I didn't make it to the table. I was 7, 8 years old when he saw me. But I did remember him. He used to come play with my father cards. My husband was 11 years older than me. The kindest person. Yes.
What's the most important message for a young Jewish person today?
To be Jewish, to believe in his beliefs. And what God's meant for you, I still can't believe, why me? My sister was beautiful. My brother was handsome, you will see on the pictures. Why they didn't leave just me? Why me? Why me? I don't understand. Was a time I don't know if I should believe in something or not believe in God. Because why did they kill them all to the gas chambers? So she died in the gas chambers, and I want to die in the gas chamber to have the same thing what they went through. But didn't meant to be. We have 2 beautiful sons, and I have 5 beautiful grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren.
Is it important that Yiddishkeit continues to exist today?
Of course, that's what people born in this, and that's what we believe in it. I could stay in Czechoslovakia, I could stay with the Goyim, but I wouldn't stay. I would want to be what Jews are. That's why I left. To me, you know what this meant at the time? That somebody wants me, that I will be with somebody. You know?
So what does that mean for young Jewish people today? Everything that you went through, what does that teach young people today?
What is teaching them? To see what we went through, they should have a better life. They should be Jewish and believe in what they believe.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we...
I don't know if my life didn't go through so fast, like I told you this year. And what I went through every day and every minute, what I went through, how much hunger, how much pain, and to be alone. I was so angry at my mother. I asked, why did she leave me? What did I do wrong? I thought, blame myself. She should have come and picked me up from the hospital. I said, what did I do wrong? Why you? And then what times that I want to live, I will show it. Even if she left me, and I survived. And I took care of myself, and honest, and decent, not to be ashamed, but I didn't do nothing wrong. And I just blame myself. What did I do? I want to know what I did wrong. Why she left me. And why did I go 2 days before? I suffered. Yes, and I forgot to tell. In Jewish hospital, they shot everybody. If I would have gone to the Jewish hospital, I would be shot too. And I didn't go to the Jewish hospital. Why she didn't want me to go to the Jewish hospital? She said the doctors are not so good. But I could have gone to the Jewish hospital. She wouldn't have the money to pay. I would have gone to the Jewish hospital.
The Jewish hospital was free?
I don't know about the money. That time I didn't. And it was free, probably was free. The Jewish hospital was free.
Did they give you numbers?
No, by us they didn't give numbers. By us started like a working camp, and then after I came right away, they said this all concentration period, all camps are liquidated, and now it's only a concentration camp, and the camp men. They send the woman over there to Ravensbrück to teach how to deal with this with us, and we were walking to work with men watching the gates and the whole story. We couldn't go out. We couldn't go nothing.
Where did you live?
Where I left, one day I went to watch, and over there I saw my husband walking on the street. So I said, I have to go back. I have to go back to Yonjev and see maybe somebody is left, maybe somebody is alive. And over there I met my husband, and I met over there, it was it was no. That day it was a parade. Was a parade, and my husband's brother, he was my cousin's husband, was standing outside, and he saw me. I went over, we went, and for my grandma, for the whole mishpucha, whoever left, I cried over a little bit, and I say, you have to go back to watch, because nobody's here. And then he was standing watching the parade, and he didn't let me go. And I went with them. The next day, we went with them to Breslau. And from Breslau, we went to München. I went to München, and we went to, oh God, to Bergen-Belsen. My husband had a family in Bergen-Belsen, so, and I went to München because my uncle lived in München.
Okay. Anything else you want to ask, Susan? Okay.
Thank
Thank you
so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you.